Hello, the International Myeloma Foundation. This is Judy. How can I help you?
Here was this beautiful man that I was marrying, and then gets this terrible disease. He gets this information that you have cancer, you have multiple myeloma. We felt like we were all alone, cast adrift in the sea. There was nothing. He went to the library and he looked up all the doctors that had done something in myeloma, and he interviewed them all. And then he found Dr. Durie, and they just clicked.
In conjunction with Brian Novus, we decided that there was a desperate need to provide information for patients diagnosed with myeloma. Information that could lead them to the best tests and to the best treatments. And so the first thing was to have a newsletter where there would be information, and we'd send out news about what was going on about myeloma. The access to what was the best available had to be for everyone.
The IMF has been a godsend for me in that it not only gave me hope, but gave me a vision of where I could go beyond the 2 to 5 year death sentence that I got initially.
I got a path, I got a light in the dark tunnel that I was walking in at the time.
The key next step was to bring patients together to have direct access to experts.
It was just giving patients the voice and the power and the courage to challenge their doctor. And not all doctors are really myeloma experts.
This was the beginning of something that turned out to be a quantum leap forward. It was a new idea for patients to have this opportunity, and it has turned out to be tremendous for myeloma, but for patients with all kinds of diseases where this idea has really caught on.
We have a much more educated myeloma patient than we did years ago. And that's a lot to do with us by going out to the community, small and large, and helping them get an opportunity to speak with doctors, nurses, other patients.
Is a PET scan or an MRI?
As the doctors who were listening to the questions and trying to answer the questions, we were able to understand what the patient's concerns were. We needed new treatments, better treatments, and so there was a strong impetus to encourage the doctors to look for new drugs that could be tested in clinical trials. The starting point was really to bring the existing myeloma doctors together, to have expert panels and discussions, and this led to what has become the International Myeloma Working Group.
Since 2001, the IMWG grew from 40 to over 240 doctors from 36 countries all around the world. It's truly remarkable to see what they can do together as one group and what they have planned for the future.
see the number of publications by the International Myeloma Working Group is a great testimony that the 30 years have been very productive. And look what happened in the sort of survival of patients when the IMF started and now 30 years later.
For the first 10 to 15 years of the IMF, we were very much focused on the supporting part, to make things available, to improve access to treatments. And so now in the last 10 to 15 years, we have had more time and ability to focus on, could we cure myeloma, prevent myeloma? And so this led to the creation of the Black Swan Research Initiative.
We traditionally fund incremental type of research projects, but sometimes a very big advance can make only if you take a risk. The Black Swan Initiative is all about high risk, high reward type of projects.
There really has been tremendous progress. Right now, we actually have over 25 Black Swan research projects going forward. We can talk about the potential for curing myeloma because we are so close.
Your organization is a testimony to the fact that we can and should and must use all means to advance in the fields of science.
I think the secret of the IMF's success is that they keep the patient at the center and do advocacy, education, research, everything around the patient, and with a singular goal, like, until there's a cure, there's the IMF.
I've never seen an organization as committed to the welfare of patients as the IMF. The IMF really puts the patient at the center of everything that is done. It's not just lip service, there is a real commitment.
Saved my life. I mean, what more can you say of an organization that brings you in and embraces you and saves your life? Wonderful.
The IMF empowered us as a patient, as a caregiver, gave me the strength to move on with this disease. Strength, resilience, meaning that we could take it on, meaning that we had strength in numbers. It wasn't just us, we had the IMF helping us.
I view the International Myeloma Foundation as sort of the gold standard of patient organizations. They're the most holistic myeloma patient organization in the world.
It is almost impossible to believe what has happened over the last 30 years, the progress that has been made, and all of the benefits that have become available for patients with multiple myeloma.
There is a working myeloma community now, which was not the case in the past. There is a community working together to do the very best for myeloma patients everywhere and achieve the best outcomes.
We have moved the needle forward. It's people coming together, working together.
They achieved so many things in these 30 years. The focus, the energy, the synergy, the quality.
One of the goals was that when a patient is diagnosed with myeloma, they're not alone. They have support, they have information, they have access to things that were not there in the past, and that the outcomes are dramatically improved, and they're going to improve more in the coming 5 to 10 years.
We have to just think about, why are we doing this? We're doing it because there's so many people out there that have this disease and that we can help them live well, because we believe that we can work collaboratively and we will cure this disease once and for all.